All right, problem 20. Let's go ahead and do the same thing here again. And so let's subtract first of all. So if we subtract, we're going to go 1 over x minus, adding for the first one, 2 root x. That's really all that we can do on that one. Back of the book puts x on the bottom so that we have a common denominator. We could do that if we wanted to. Times this thing by x and say 1 plus 2x root x over x. I think either way you put that would be just fine. And looking at the back of the book, it does clean this up into 1 plus 2x to the 1 plus x to the square root is really the 1/2. So that's where the 3/2 comes from. If we subtracted for problem B, we would say 1 over x minus, and let's go ahead and just get that common denominator there. Again, 2 root x times x over x. And so we'll say 1 minus 2 to the 2x to the 3/2 over x would be problem B. On all of these, we need to say x has to be greater than or equal to 0. Why? There's a square root in these problems. So we got to make sure that that's there. Problem C, if we multiplied them together, we'd have 1 over x times 2 root x, which is 2 root x over x. And once again, x has to be greater than or equal to 0 because of the square root. And let's go ahead and divide them. 1 over x divided by 2 root x. That's the same as saying 1 over x times 1 over 2 root x. And so we've got ourselves a fraction in the denominator. That is never ever allowed, so we need to multiply both sides by x to the 1/2. That's the same thing as saying multiply the top and the bottom by the square root, so that our square roots will cancel out and just leave us with x on the bottom there, square root of x squared. And so we'll have square root of x over 2 x squared. And what we need to make sure we have here is x is greater than or equal to 0 again. Go ahead and pause if you want to take a look at those. Otherwise, I'm going to erase everything so I have space to do E and F. All right, we'll do f of g of x first. So this is part E. G is 2 root x. And on this one, we're going to say f is 1 over 2 root x. You know, on all those last ones, A through D, I was saying x has to be greater than or equal to 0. It strikes me now that there is an x in the denominator, so we cannot be equal to 0. It needs to be just x is greater than or equal to 0 on all of these problems. Sorry about that. All right, so 1 over 2 root x. Let's get rid of that square root on the bottom, and we'll have root x over 2x for our final answer. And again, x has to be greater than, not equal to, I have an x on the bottom, 0. Part F, we're going to do g of 1 over x. And so on this one, we will actually end up with exactly the same No, we won't. Sorry, 2 square root of 1 over x. Got confused there for a second. So we need to, is there anything we can do? No, there is not. And so I would leave it just like this.